Yo, what's good, y'all? Back with it on Jaimon Speaks here today, man. And we talking about how I got over my fear of public speaking. And what better to do it than right now, speaking here in public. At first, I used to shake, I used to stutter, I used to avoid eye contact, I used to freeze up, I used to use a lot of and it's just a lot of times we're overthinking and not knowing exactly what to say, and sometimes we're overthinking about it in the moment. One of the best ways to get better at public speaking is by trying your best to live in the moment. Trying to quiet those thoughts in your mind and just live in the present moment and speak. And that is the best way that I've caught myself to be able to help myself with my public speaking shyness. Public speaking is one of the most common anxieties. It's an anxiety that a lot of people have is, I fear I'm not going to say the right thing, or just being in front of all the people, or even if you're just in public like right now, it can be kind of nerve-wracking as people walk past you and see you and you might fear their judgment. But you can't fear their judgment. You're not going to see them again. And that's how I mitigate that, is I'm not going to see you again. I'm out here doing what I got to do. And sometimes you got to justify it within your mind. Like, I'm doing what I got to do. I'm doing what I got to do to excel myself, to get better, to improve, right? So if this is what I got to do to improve and excel in my YouTube journey and things like that, then it's something that I find justifiable, and it takes time, it takes practice, it takes you to do it. Exposure. You have to have some type of exposure to public speaking. You got to put yourself in that opportunity. That's how we overcome fears, is by exposure, by doing it, but also by changing our belief and our mindset. So first, try to change your belief and your mindset, right, about public speaking. You're not being judged. We all have anxieties. We all have problems public speaking. We all fear. They were just looking at me in the car right now. I'm not excluded to it, but me out here right now speaking as cars are passing me, looking at me, is the best way to mitigate that. I knew that I really wanted to get better at public speaking in like high school. I went through high school, I went through college, I'm in grad school right now, and I'm just now reaching the ability to be able to public speak, and I still get the anxiety. If I'm not actively doing it, like for my work, I give out presentations and things like that. If I go a month without giving a presentation, it is a little nerve-wracking going back into it. So it's about exposure and doing it on the regular. If you can do it on the regular, it becomes normal to you. You need to be able to make your anxieties, your fears, the normal. I was a very shy kid in elementary and middle school, and in high school I started to step out of my shell. I started to talk to more people. I started to kind of just become more social, and it took a lot of times of me getting laughed at, me getting embarrassed, me saying the wrong thing, to be able to actually build that confidence. But at the end of the day, me doing it, even when I failed, I built confidence by failing, because I learned that a failure is not that bad. So what? They laugh for 1 second. But all these successes, all these little wins that I have from being able to just speak up and speak my mind and have confidence. So public speaking is something that we got to work ourselves up to. And so a very specific moment that held me back from public speaking is here today. Like I'm sitting at the Culvers, I'm waiting for my car to get done, and I'm just like, all right, I was gonna record videos after. I didn't know my car was gonna take so long. And so I was gonna go to like a quiet little nature preserve and record some videos. But I'm stuck here, and because this is the best place and there's other people around. And so today I had to face my fear of public speaking. I had to face my fear of setting up my camera in a public space where there's a lot of cars and a lot of people walking by, and I know a lot of people can hear me. And so this is a specific example today where I had to just take the risk and throw the camera on. It's times where I'm a little nervous right now. I'm stuttering, but at the end of the day, I'm getting better. I'm improving. I took the risk, and right now, today, real time, I am working on my fear of public speaking. My fear of public speaking affected a lot of opportunities because I didn't have the ability to go out and speak. Like for my first public interview that I recorded a year and a half ago, everything before that I kept procrastinating. It kept limiting me. But the moment I did that public interview, changed everything. The video did great. It changed my momentum. It changed my outlook. It changed my content. It changed everything because people wanted to see me in public. You know, a lot of times, you know, doing the podcast in your house and things like that is cool, but sometimes people want you to interact with real life things that's going on. I had to be able to get over my fear of public speaking to evolve my content, because my content is not going to be in a home. I want to be able to do in real life interviews, experiments, vlogs, things like that. In order to do so, I have to build up this skill. I have to build up my confidence of being behind camera and not being afraid of others and what they think about me as they pass by me, not knowing what position I'm in. But I know that I will never see them again. And still, that's not the only justification. I hope I see them again. But I know that I'm doing what I need to do, and I don't need to justify nothing to nobody, because nobody gonna pay my rent, nobody gonna pay my bills, nobody gonna pay for my dreams. So at the end of the day, I gotta get out here and do it myself. You're not alone. Everybody has anxieties and fears, and a lot of us specifically fear public speaking. So you need to know that you're not alone in all this. A lot of us go through the same thing. A lot of times people fear public speaking because of judgment, because of other people seeing you. Look, they just looked at me right now because of judgment. When at the end of the day, I don't care how you judge me. I'm not doing nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I need to do. So therefore, being able to change your mindset to be able to mitigate some of the fear from the judgment. The next thing is perfectionism. I am a perfectionist. I like for everything to be perfect, done right, planned, organized, in order. But at the end of the day, that's not how life is. And that's not what's going to get it done. If I keep trying to be perfect at everything I do, I'm not going to get nothing done. So therefore, there's times where I just need to press go, where I need to quit procrastinating, where I just need to set the camera up. And yes, you know, I understand, you know, we need to put preparation and things into the videos, which I'm putting my passion into this video. That's what I'm putting. I'm putting my passion into this video. Yes, I have notes. Yes, I have things that I want to remember to bring up to you guys. But at the end of the day, this is no script. This is off of straight heart, straight real stories, straight passion, straight love for the game. And the next thing that really causes people to have problems with have anxiety with public speaking is a lack of practice. If you're not practicing, if you're not doing it, if you're not public speaking, it is going to be hard. You need that exposure to be able to do it. That's how we get better, is by doing it. So if you want to be able to mitigate it, go out and do it. That's going to help you. If you decide, all right, I'm going to go out and public speak once a week, that is enough to build up your skill over a long-term time. You look back in 2 years, you're going to be a very great public speaker. I'm way better at public speaking than I was 2 years ago. And that's the goal, is constant improvement. It can be linear if we put in the linear work to be able to do so. Another thing that may cause us anxiety is the brain perceives public speaking as a threat. That's what causes the anxiety as well. And so we have to work to rewire our brain and the way we think about public speaking and why we're doing it. We have to remember those things to be able to change the mindset, because our mind, it fears it. Our mind, it perceives it as a threat. So we have to be able to rewire our mind to be able to perceive it as an opportunity rather than a threat. And that takes time, that takes justification, that takes self-belief, that you're going to have to go in and change some of the pre-existing beliefs that our mind is that operable, that our mind is made out to function and believe. So we have to be able to change some of those things that are natural to us. So take it easy on yourself. The small steps I took is recording myself. First, start recording yourself and just see how it is. And that's what I did. I started just recording myself. I did podcasts. In my house in a comfortable setting, and I just posted them. Yes, there was some times where I'm like, oh, I don't want to post this. Oh, I feel like I'm cringe. And you can cut some things out. But at the end of the day, I posted them. As cringe as my first podcast was, I posted it. As cringe as my second podcast was, I posted it. I kept recording. I kept doing it. I kept getting better. And then I moved on, and in my work and professional opportunities, I also have these opportunities to be able to present as well. I have presented in front of the state's attorney's office, my company and my organization, and the community work that we do. And I've done it for many other partner organizations before then, and all that practice built up to start to get rid of the anxiety. And yes, I still get anxiety when I do it. Yes, I still have a fear of public speaking, but yes, I'm able to do it. Yes, I'm able to step through those challenges. Yes, I'm able to change my mindset to see it as an opportunity rather than a fear. Yes, when I'm speaking, I'm able to have fun and be able to live in the moment and speak my truth and speak from the heart in front of you all. And that's the goal, is being able to get to a point to where you can speak your heart in front of an audience, where you can speak your heart and you ain't worried about anything else that's going on, and you living in the moment, using these coping skills to live in the moment, whether that be box breathing in for 3 seconds, holding for 3 seconds and breathing out, only focusing on your breath, whether that be your grounding skills, paying attention to the things that you see around you, like these trees right here, and feeling the texture of this tree, right? If I was in my mind anxious, worried about things like that, and I'm paying attention to this, I'm not anxious anymore, because my mind is focused on what's going on in the present moment rather than the generalizing thoughts in my head. So therefore, that's a way that you can put yourself in the moment instantly. Next is practicing tone, eye contact, volume, and posture. Practicing these things. Practicing being able to look at the camera. Practicing your tone, practicing your enthusiasm when you speak, practicing the way you speak, your posture, not just like, but yeah, like speaking to you guys, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times we have to start with a script and things like that, but a script is not speaking from your heart. You need to be able to speak from your heart. So therefore, having notes can help you. When I'm going blank in the video, I can look down and be like, all right, yeah, I've already covered this. Okay, I really need to cover this. So it's something that can instantly spark things that you need to talk about. What also helps in public speaking is preparation. You need to know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, it's going to be hard to speak about it. You're going to have to speak off a script, which is going to make it not natural, and it kind of takes it all apart. So make sure you're knowing what you're talking about. Make sure you believe what you're talking about. Make sure you love what you talk about. And if you don't, find a way to justify it in your mind, right? If you work in a job and you might not love that job, but that's what you got to do, then that means you need to find a way to justify it in your mind. You know what, I'm doing this so I can get to the next level, and this is for my personal and professional improvement and things like that, so I'm going to go ahead and get it done. You know, being able to find a way to justify it, because if we can find a way to justify it, we can change the way we think about it. Celebrate those small wins instead of chasing perfectionism. So what I mean by that is being able to go out in public and just speak, being able to record yourself and just looking at it and encouraging yourself like, whoa, I just did it. Like, whoa, I just faced my fear and I just did it. And looking at it like a win, because it's a win. You just faced a fear and you just accomplished something. And now you have something that you can look at and see that you can get feedback from to see how you can become better. That's how we get better at things, is a feedback loop. Getting feedback from what we're learning and utilizing what we're learning. So being able to also educate yourself and learn more, so then you can use your feedback, use your new knowledge, and come back this next time even better. That's how our mind learns, is by learning, utilizing what we're learned, doing it, receiving feedback, and coming back again. Trial and error, trial and error, trial and error until we're perfect. And that's how we constantly get better. That's how we grow. That's how, when you say, you know what, I'm going to do YouTube and I'm going to see how I go. If you decide every video is going to get better, every single video, you're going to improve, you're going to become better, you're going to succeed. Tools that help me personally is journaling before speeches to get rid of my anxiety. So being able to write down some of the things that are on my mind, being able to offload some of these things that are in my mind, and also being able to get my thoughts clear before I'm doing it, right? And writing is the best way to get your thoughts clear, because you can get your thoughts out your head and on a piece of paper, and being able to look at those thoughts and organize those thoughts and rationalize those thoughts. And we need to, because we don't ever check our thoughts enough like we need to sometimes. So being able to check your thoughts can help. Like I said, breathing exercise and visualization. So the breathing exercise I brought up earlier, and also visualization, being able to close your eyes and see yourself in that situation. Public speaking, doing great, doing exactly how you want to do, you know what I mean? Imagining that, visualizing that. And the trick about this is your mind does not know the difference between what's really happening and what you're visualizing. So when you're visualizing it, you're building the confidence, tricking your mind into thinking that you've already done it. Next thing is watching great public speakers and modeling their body language and their flow. Modeling how they speak, modeling their body language, how they move, how they, just being able to watch these great public speakers like Joe Rogan, these individuals who have great public speaking abilities, and being able to mirror what they're doing, being able to just listen to them, because the more that you listen to these individuals, the more that you're able to learn and gain knowledge from these individuals, subconsciously and consciously. Subconsciously because you're watching it, but also making a conscious effort to watch and see what they're doing, to be able to mimic what they're doing and your own thing, right? And adding your own authentic twist. I am not any of the guys who I've had motivation from. Jim Ron. I'm not a Jim Ron. I'm not any of these guys. I am Jaimon. I am myself. But all these guys I have been able to learn from. These guys have been able to mentor me to get to where I'm at. And what I mean mentor, not one-on-one mentor, they don't know me, but they mentored me because I've listened to their videos. I've listened to Jim Ron for countless hours. I've listened to these videos consistently every single day since I was 14 years old, listening to a motivational speaker in some type of fashion, some type of way, at least 5 times a week. I love podcasts. I love listening to motivational videos on YouTube. And that's just something I grew up loving to do. And it's something that I grew up and I started to kind of learn how they speak. I started to kind of learn how they flow. I started to kind of learn, and I had to add my own authentic flow and twist to it all. The next thing is use outlines instead of full scripts. Full scripts, you're not going to sound natural. You're going to sound like you're reading off of something. People are going to tell that your eyes are looking in a certain way. You sitting in front of a camera with no distractions, no nothing else. People with their pure attention span gaining value from the content that you're giving. So a lot of times, public speaking, whether it's for a job, whatever, use outlines. Use outlines. So I'm able to have an outline to look at. All right, I want to make sure I bring this point up. And then I'm able to just talk about it instead of reading off a paper, messing up, because people can tell. I don't care if you're on a Zoom and you're reading off a paper, man, people can tell, man. So using the outline kind of helps too, because you're not constricted on what you could say. You could just be natural. You could speak off that natural flow, but you also have the outline to keep you nice and organized and know what points you want to hit. And a lot of times the speech will become more impactful when we're going off our heart and our passion, as opposed to those other things that we may see. Nothing beats practice. Practice makes perfect, and that exposure and doing it is going to help change your mindset. There's many of opportunities to speak at schools, at daycares, at church, YouTube, podcasts. There's many opportunities for you to get out there and practice yourself. And that's the best way that you're going to get better at it and be able to mitigate those fears and anxieties that are biological and not anything wrong with you. Each time you speak, you get better and you get over that fear. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to be brave enough to try. If you like or got any value from what you saw today, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below to let me know what you guys want to see or your experience with public speaking. I want to hear. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a discussion down here in the comments, man, and let's learn from each other. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Jaimon Speaks, Jaimon Reacts, Jaimon Sports, your best self-improvement, lifestyle, interview, content, man. We back at it, man. We gonna be here, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We out.